So here are a few tips on how you can prepare for the exam. Of course, it's better if you have a period of a few months or weeks at least before you take the exam, if you can. That way you will have time to slowly build up your vocabulary and study different topics that come up often on the exams. So first, what I recommend you to do is to read a lot, listen, watch videos, listen to podcasts, listen to the news, read newspapers, all in French. That way you will get used to listening and talking about an issue in French. You'll know the main ideas, you can come up with your own arguments and opinions, and you will absorb all the vocabulary. It will become familiar, and if you when you practice, if you reuse this vocabulary, then it will be in your mind for a long time, and that's how you will become able to talk about anything in French. Second thing is, when you have your study time and you listen to something, after listening, right away write down the keywords of what you heard. If you heard some numbers, if you heard some interesting ideas or examples, make notes. You can even draw or make a mind map or have some symbols and some images that you connect with those keywords that will make it easier to remember. And then after that, you could do, for example, some flashcards, or on a topic, you would write down all those keywords and create your like a folder with everything into environment or health or education. And that's how you will slowly build up your vocabulary, and you will get used to hearing something and right away writing down the keywords. That will help for the listening comprehension or the reading comprehension tasks of the exams as well. So that's 2 in 1. You're working on your listening, and then you're working on studying and production when you're reusing those concepts and those words. As you do that, you'll see that a lot of concepts can be used with different topics. For example, environment is very linked to health. New technologies are linked to every other topic pretty much, so you can focus on these ones, and then that will give you the ability to connect topics. And if you're less familiar on a topic that's at the exam, maybe you can branch out and link it to something you're more familiar with, and then avoid the problems that you might have on the day of the test. Okay, so the first step is maximum exposure in French to all the topics that come up frequently in the test. I have made a document, and you can have a rough idea of those what those topics are, and focus your studying on that. So get maximum exposure, learn the vocabulary, have a list of examples about those different topics and statistics maybe. And then the second thing is a more focused studying and practice. And that's where you will prepare outlines about all those main topics that come up at the exam. So let's say one day you will choose a topic, you will choose the environment, then you will select a subtopic. For example, in this video, the main topic was the environment. The subtopic was production of energy. And then I sat down and I did a big brainstorming, and I listed all my arguments, all my ideas, all the examples. And then you structure everything you wrote down to create the outline of an exposé or an essay. So in the first step, you don't even need to write down your full exposé. You just need to be able to create a structured outline very quick. You find a question, you list down all your arguments, and you structure it. And that's going to be a very important skill that will help you a lot on the day of the exam. So once you're very comfortable finding arguments and structuring and doing outlines, then you can move on to practicing the writing or the speaking. So at first, I would recommend just working on short amount of text. So maybe the first paragraph or the introduction. So you write down, work with a tutor or a teacher, or work on the grammar, vocabulary you need to improve. And then once you're comfortable writing short texts, you can move on to writing full exposés or full essays. But if you're writing full essays right away, you're going to get lost, and you won't be able to focus so much on what's important to progress. So you'll lose time, and time is very important. You want to save that time, save that energy. So it's better to work on short texts, but very focused, and using all the concepts that you will need on the day of the exams. So what all this will do, the first step with maximum exposure, the second step with your own production and thinking about critical thinking about those topics, is that you will memorize in your long-term memory. You will acquire all this vocabulary you need. And the second skill that you'll acquire is that you will be able to find ideas and structure your exposés about pretty much anything, which is what you will need on the day of the exam. And again, that comes down to lowering your stress level, because it's already a stressful situation. So if you're prepared, at least you won't stress about that. You're prepared, anything can come your way, you'll be able to handle it and to get a good grade at the exam.